Okay, so now we're going to transition over to a striker fire pistol, a polymer pistol, as opposed to the 1911. I'm going to show you how we do this entire sequence. So you'll notice that I have a range bag. My range bag should have all my gear in it. If I have a secondary gun I want to work with, it's in the range bag unloaded. Okay. So now let's say I've been doing some exercises with my primary, my 1911, and I want to switch guns and I'm out on the range. On an unimproved range like this, there are no benches or anything. So the best way to handle that is get a good range bag where I can put everything I need in the range bag. Okay. So the first thing we're going to do is unload, make safe, get my gear off. We'll put the other gear on, and then we'll go and shoot a few shots with a striker fire with some instruction. Okay. So the first thing I want to do is make sure my firearm's unloaded. All right. So again, we want to make sure no one's in front of us in the 180. Make sure that we are going to essentially unload. So come on out, back. First thing we do is drop the magazine. Now if we're not training for combat, I don't care. Put it away in a pocket. We're just dropping in the range bag, okay? Safety off, come across the top. Something always pointed at yourself. Rack the round out. Rack it a few times. Then out. If I'm pointing in a safe direction, no one on the 180, I can go ahead and drop the hammer, come back, and holster up, okay? So now we can change our gear safely, okay? We have an unloaded firearm, so nothing in the magazine and there was nothing in the chamber, okay? Remember, if you have to double check the chamber, you can cock the hammer back, again with the slide stop, lock it in place, and now you can check your chamber physically, nothing up the pipe or magazines, and I can go in with a digit and make sure there's no round in the chamber. Drop the slide, point in the safe direction, and drop the hammer and holster up, and now we can change out, okay? So I just wanted to show you the extra lock back on the slide. I like to go and rack the slide and then look, but some instructors like to make sure the slide stop is locked, slide is back, and you physically check, okay? Either way is fine. So now we get the gear off. Notice it's nice to have a holster because then everything's safe, everything's in the holster. I just put the holster in the range bag. It's not in the dirt, it's not out there somewhere inaccessible. I can drop all of the primary gear there that I was using safely and keep it out of the dirt and in one bag, okay? All right, so now we're gonna go over to the striker fire gun. So get my belt so my pants don't fall down. Start the first loop. And then with my magazines I can just slide that through. And slide it through. Like, yeah, come on you. There you go. Make sure my pants don't fall down during the video. Then loop through until we get to the other side. Remember, I'm on the right side shooter. Okay, now here, my firearm's already unloaded. Okay, it's in a holster. So I can get this on without crossing any digits in front of my bore. Slide it around. Come on. Getting a little fatter. Used to be easy when I was skinny. Okay. All right, cinch up. So the whole idea of this exercise, besides showing you my manual dexterity skills, is to show you how to get the gear on safely. So now I got my magazines on, I got my gun ready to go, okay? All right. One thing I will say that I didn't mention in the previous videos is you want your magazine set so the bullets are forward of the range in your pouch. So when you come down the index on the bullet, it's a nice natural move to get the gun index, to get the magazine out. Okay, much faster way to do everything. Okay? Alright, stepping out of view here, grab my ears. Loading sequence is the same. We want to make sure that we're safe down range. No one on the 180. Loading into the berm. Good grip on the gun, straight up, roll it, out, in index into the mag well, tap it, bracket with the full muscle group, then come back in and host her up, and you're ready to go. Okay. All right. Now it's a good idea to make sure the front mag well is always got a magazine in it. So if you get in a situation like this where you had to fight and drop a magazine, if you have time under cover, you can shift the magazine to the front. That makes it a little bit faster. But if you have to search for the magazine, you do it along the belt, like that. There's the mag, okay? All right, so we're hot. So we're basically going to do exactly the same thing. We want to blade off naturally to the target area. When we come up, we want to roll, touch, press out. We want a good isosceles into the target area, right underneath the master eye, both eyes open, and press the trigger, recover, press the trigger, recover, okay? So make sure I'm in the right spot. Up, in, and press, recover, okay? Down and scan, and holster up, okay? So that's just some of the basics. We get into a lot more detail when we're actually out here doing a CCW or advanced training. You're basically going to start out with dry firing and do a lot of this mechanization before you fire your first round. So this just gives you an idea of how to operate on the range with your range bag, how to unload and load. So on the striker fire guns, there are fewer controls. So basically, some striker fires do not even have a safety, okay? So they are basically point and shoot guns like revolvers, and the disconnector to start the firing sequence is on the trigger, okay? So I don't call that a trigger safety because it's not, okay? If you have to put your finger on the trigger, it's not safe, okay? What that does is basically help get the firing sequence going and get the disconnector lined up and set properly, so when you press through the trigger, you make the shot, okay? So I'm going to unload, show you some of the controls, and that'll end this video, okay? So unload the same as we did before. Up, roll out, quit the gun, hit the magazine button, drop the magazine, come across the top, finger out of the trigger guard, rack a couple times, rack and lock with the slide lock if you like. Check the mag well, check the chamber, then you can rack and come out and press to decock if you're pointed in a safe direction with nobody in front of you, and then host her up, okay? So a lot more instruction, a lot more practice in our CCW and advanced training, but this just gives you an idea of how to operate. So with that, this is James Hartley, Idaho Defense. Have a great day, and we'll catch you next time.